Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
In Bo we trust. Bo is the future. I just want to go back to August 19th when I made it perfectly clear. When I make the Fantasy Football Championship and the Broncos make the playoffs because of the success of Bo Nix. The bar is low. Give me Bo. That's a good one. The bar is low. Give me Bo.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
What's up, y'all? It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in Memphis, and I'm clearly not Gary Parrish. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show, but I'm Lane Whitaker. I'm sitting in for Gary today and tomorrow. Gary's out for a minute. We're here in the Built for Tough studio here at Grind City Media. I'm here with, as always, on the ones and twos, Bennett Doyle.
What's up, dude?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
Welcome in. This is your first time hosting the GP show.
Yeah, it is. I've been on the show a couple times,
Yep.
and I've actually hosted shows in this studio.
Yep.
But not the GP show.
Do you feel right at home?
Feels great.
Good.
Like
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good. I'm
nice.
glad.
This chair, I got a little thing going with the chair and the height of the chair versus the height of the desk. It's a little awkward to me,
Yeah.
but I realize this is built for tough. Maybe I'm just not built for tough. Maybe I need to toughen up a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, dude.
We got a big show today. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. My guy Youngmisuk from ESPN is going to join us in a little bit to talk about the Clippers and, more importantly, to talk about 90s R&B and the things that and I talk about pretty often. We're also going to talk on our 5 things. We got all sorts of stuff in there. We got some college basketball news, which should be Gary's subject. We've got some baseball stuff to talk about. We've got some food. We've got some animals. We got the carry out. We got other stuff to talk about on there, things we're watching, things we're doing this weekend. But first, it's 10 o'clock. We're going to talk about the NFL because
Yes.
we always talk about the NFL. The whole world talks about the NFL. And there's news happening around the Shield all over the place. And it feels like, doesn't it feel like everyone's just talking about money?
Yes, that's where we are right now. That's all the stories, contracts.
But we're 7 days from the first game, right? Why are we still talking about contracts now? That to me is it makes me appreciate the NBA a little bit more because we don't have these. I mean,
Holdouts.
I guess. Well, you sort of did last year. Like James Harden wanted to get traded, and that lasted into the start of the season. But there's multiple NFL players right now who are holding out and complaining about money, and they've been complaining about it for a long time. I guess the big one is Jamar Chase is
Yep.
probably the biggest story because he's at this moment he's gonna play. We think he's practicing for the Bengals. We don't know exactly what the status is. They say he's playing.
So yesterday, Zach Taylor said that he was gonna be ready to go week 1. When he talked to reporters, said that Jamar Chase was gonna be ready to go week 1, and he kind of walked that back. He said he probably spoke too soon, or he said, "I think I probably put my foot in my mouth, speaking too quickly." Again, this is a day-to-day situation. We'll just keep seeing it as that.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so like we saw the CeeDee Lamb deal get done this week, and you know, in most situations, like I think the holdouts are so silly just because it always ends up getting worked out for the most part. This one is a little different in my opinion because my good friend Steve, he's a Bengals fan, and that franchise is interesting because their ownership operates a little, it's more of an old school
family
ownership. Yeah. And so typically, like when you see these things, you're like, oh, well, they're just going to work it out right before the season starts. That's how it's going to go. I'm not as sure about this one.
You don't think they're just going to pony up the last minute?
I think I'm probably 60-40 yes, but I'm not certain about it.
That's kind of close to 50-50. That's scary if you're a Bengals fan.
I would not be like, sure. I wouldn't feel good if I was a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't, but I think ultimately he'll sign.
Would they? You think that? Is there any chance they would move him?
No, hell no. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, if you're going to get nothing out of him if he's not playing.
I mean, he's still got 2 years left on his rookie deal. He wants that Justin Jefferson contract.
He's a 3-time Pro Bowler at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the game.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that they'll ultimately get it done, but I bet they're going to be sweating it all the way up until kickoff.
Yeah, well, that's one of the contract things. Aiyuk and Trent Williams with the Niners are both still beefing about that. We've been talking about Brandon Aiyuk for months in this story. That's been lingering. The Williams one, I think, feels a little fresher, but it's another one where it's like, all right, these guys want to get paid. I mean, partly I think this is all because of the way the NFL contracts are structured, right? Like, if they're all non-guaranteed, so like when they run out of the guaranteed money, these guys, they want a guarantee. They want to know they're getting paid. And maybe they won't, because we've seen these NFL teams and the owners be like, "Hey, your time is up, my guy. Like, we're moving on," and guys just get put to the curb.
Yeah, I know Roser's like not feeling great right now about the Niners thing. I mean, dude, that offensive line is not good without him. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, he's losing millions of dollars a day holding out. It appears so. That one's interesting. The Aiyuk thing's weird, just because the Aiyuk thing, it seems like that's more on him. Like, it's like they've offered you a deal. You either need to take it or just move on. You know what I mean? That's kind of different than this Jamar Chase situation, the CeeDee Lamb situation. Like the Aiyuk thing, it's like, bro, it appears they've offered you a deal. Like, either take it or leave it. You know,
the thing that was weird about the CeeDee Lamb one was like, as it dragged on, we kept hearing, all right, well, both sides are comfortable with the way it's going. And there was all these updates that were essentially non-updates. And we kind of get those with the Aiyuk thing too. It's like, well, we're working on it, and Aiyuk, they were saying Aiyuk's having a hold in, like he's there, but he's like he has a sore back.
Yep.
So I don't know. Then if we're talking contracts, then this morning we get news about Deshaun Watson, who has restructured his contract. The Browns have restructured the contract of Deshaun Watson, converting $44.79 million of his 2024 base salary into a signing bonus, which creates $35.8 million in cap space. And Cleveland now has $62 million in cap space, the most in the NFL.
Dude, that's crazy to me. Like, I'm like trying to even think of it.
It all feels fake.
I know.
Like, how do they even count cap space? If you can just take a guy and be like, hey, we're going to turn your salary into a bonus. Like, why doesn't every team do that?
Every team just do that. I know. I thought the exact same thing when I read that. It is so weird that team is the one has the most. Just because, I mean, they've got a great defense. We know that, and they did pay Chubb, which is interesting considering he's like, that was more of a, hey, you've been here for a long time. We appreciate you. We're gonna take care of you. But I mean, their offense, just as a whole, it's fine. So it's fine. You know.
Apparently, it ups their caps hit the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So somebody here on Twitter says Deshaun Watson's 2025 and 2026 cap hits are now up to roughly $72 million each year.
Weird.
Because his contract, isn't it like $50 million a year,
Yes,
basically?
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that I have a bad feeling about the Browns, man. I think that defense is going to be good. I think they'll be in games, but I don't know. That offense, I got no faith.
I got a bad feeling in Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thing to me. When,
yeah.
I mean, I'm a Falcons fan. When the Falcons started messing around talking about Deshaun Watson,
Right.
I was like, oh, no. I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you're happy with this news because, like, that's the worst contract in the years
NFL.
that we've seen. Yeah. So you're happy that they're freeing themselves up a little bit. But, again, I don't know. If I look at that division with the Ravens there, and we're going to talk about the Steelers in a second. If the Bengals get the Chase thing done and Burrow's fully healthy, I'm just not feeling great if I'm a Browns fan. I'm really not. I think they're going to have a great defense, but I think that offense is going to be maybe a bit of a mess.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Steelers. We should talk about that too. There was a couple of quarterback decisions made yesterday. Teams just saying who their starter was for week 1. And Jacoby Brissett over Drake May, I guess, was that really that much of a surprise? We kind of knew that was coming.
I mean, I think with the Patriots, right, you got a new coach and you just want to start well. If you start a rookie, and you don't think he's ready.
Starting a rookie, starting Brissett gives you more wiggle room. Because if you start the rookie and he sucks right off the bat, then you're like, all right, well, what are we gonna do?
Where do we turn to?
Let's throw Jacoby Brissett out there. If you start Brissett, you kind of know what you're getting, right? He's okay, he's fine, he's good.
This isn't like, with the Bears taking, Caleb Williams number 1 overall, you got to start that guy, right?
Yeah.
But this guy getting drafted later in the first, I think it's fine. I mean,
what was he, third?
Yeah, he was the third
I mean, it's only
quarterback.
two picks later, right? So it's not like a huge drop off.
That's fair. But I think that, they know they're going to be bad, right? The writing's on the wall there.
They're also some shell shock from the Mac Jones situation, probably. They're like, all right, we can't do this again.
A vet.
Yeah. Brissett gives you I think Brissett gives you 6 months of, he buys you time. He gives you plausible deniability to be like, all right, we're trying something here. We're going to give this guy time to develop, and you can kind of hold off the fan base and be like, look, we got 6 months, but we're going to let this guy rock. Try it, Jacoby. See what you do. Best case scenario, hey, we're good. We turn into a playoff team. Worst case scenario, we're going to finish 4-12 or 5-13, whatever, and we're going to end up with a top draft pick we can use to get an offensive lineman to help our guy, whatever. But I think it gives you time to say, hey, we're rebuilding. Starting Caleb Williams right off the bat means we're trying to compete right now.
Yep.
Feels like that, and maybe you're trying to kind of recapture what the Texans did last year.
Yeah, with Stroud.
Yeah, and trying to say all right, we found this guy, we can do it. But I don't know. The Steelers are sort of, I guess it's sort of similar. They pick Russell Wilson over Fields, and you're like, all right.
This one I don't get.
Guy?
This one I don't get. I'm gonna end up eating my words on this because I said weeks ago to GP, I was like, man, if I'm the Bears, I get why you did it, but Justin Fields wasn't terrible with the Chicago Bears. That was just that whole situation was a disaster. And so I was like, I said out loud, I hope that you don't regret it, moving on from him so fast and drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. Did you pick the right dude? I saw 2 preseason games of Caleb Williams and was like, okay, they made the right decision. So that's fine. But I still don't think Fields is a bad quarterback. I mean, obviously, there's accuracy issues, but we know that teams love a quarterback that can run and get outside the pocket. And so I was a little surprised by this just because with Russell Wilson, it's I get it, veteran presence.
I mean, talk about accuracy issues.
I know, dude. It seems so uninspiring to start Russell Wilson. And I know,
veteran presence. What does that even mean?
I know.
He's calm in the huddle.
Mike Tomlin, he's still got that record to uphold, 8-8 or better every single year that he's been in the league. He's never had a losing record. And so I can understand them saying this is the safe play right here with Wilson, but I just think the upside with Fields is better.
There's clearly more upside with Justin Fields.
Yeah, I would just roll him. I mean, he's got a lot of NFL experience at this point. I would have rolled with him. That's what I would have done.
The quote that jumped out to me, I told you, it's in the very end of the article on ESPN.com. Tomlin, goes through all the coach speak about, hey, we're trying this, we're doing this, we're Russell Wilson's is a leader, and we know what he brings to the team. And at the end of it, he says, the story says, while Fields will be Wilson's backup, Tomlin didn't rule out the possibility of featuring Fields in some packages. That's certainly on the table, but I'm not going to get into too many details regarding that or things of that nature because it doesn't help us from a competitive advantage standpoint, Tomlin said. But make no mistake, his unique talent as it pertains to mobility is something that we're open to weaponizing. Although I have acknowledged Russ is QB1. Like saying that he has a unique talent of mobility that we want to weaponize. I said that's like saying like Ohtani's good at home runs. We're going to use that. Hey, LeBron James has a unique talent of scoring points. We're gonna weaponize that. We're gonna put him to work. Like we have a guy who can do something that not a lot of quarterbacks can do. And I went to Georgia. Justin Fields was on the Georgia Bulldogs a couple of years ago as a freshman behind Jake from State Farm. And Jake Fromm was the starting quarterback. And Justin Fields, they tried to use him just like this. They had packages where Justin Fields would come in the game, but he would come in the game, and the other teams were like, all right, this dude's going to run the ball. We know. They're not going to let him pass. He's gonna run.
Yeah.
And they would load up. He would run it for 2 yards, get drilled 3 times in a row. We'd punt. Jake Fromm would come in, and the offense became dynamic again. Like, I feel like if you're going to use Justin Fields, like you have to have the threat of the pass there to make the run a threat, right? Like you have to let him pass the ball sometimes so he can run. And I mean, if you just bring a guy in and say, hey, just run the ball, like it's not going to work.
Yeah, dude. I just like, and I watched some of their preseason too, and like Russell Wilson was fine. Like he wasn't great. I just think that that's super uninspiring. I'd be bummed if I was a Steelers fan, honestly, because I mean, dude, again, look at the division. Like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I mean, we talked about Deshaun Watson, but there's still he could be in theory a good quarterback for that team. Like Russell Wilson is probably the 4th best quarterback in that division. Yeah, day one easily.
Maybe the 2nd best on his team.
Yeah, I'd just be bummed if I was a Steelers fan going into the season. I really would. You just don't really have hope. Like you're not winning a Super Bowl with him. You're just not. So it's kind of a bummer for them.
I'm curious about the Falcons this year. I'm wearing my Deion Falcons t-shirt. Being a Falcons fan, I don't know what this Kirk Cousins situation is going to be. Penix was awesome in the one preseason game he played. Right. Then they sat him because they don't want fans calling for him to play over Kirk Cousins. We haven't seen Kirk Cousins at all. I mean, hopefully he can play. I don't know what's going to happen at the start of the season. They kept Taylor Heineke as like the other quarterback, and he's pretty good too. So I think they might try and trade him and get something for him. But
it seems like everybody's stoked about just the new regime and
Raheem Morris seems like a great dude. I don't know anything about him. The people love him. They're going to actually use Bijan Robinson. We didn't even talk about fantasy football.
Oh yeah, I had a draft last night.
How'd it
go? So this was my. I'm in 6 leagues,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's actually like putting way too much stress.
Are they all money leagues?
They're all money leagues. They're all money leagues, and the one that I did last time was actually the 92.9 league with my friends over there, and that one, the stakes are the lowest in that one as far as like the cash prize. And so I just kind of had some fun last night. Like I didn't
draft 4 quarterbacks.
No, like I drafted Derrick Henry at number 8th overall. Like I totally reached just
set the
because
chat on fire.
Yeah, everyone made fun of me for it, but it was like that's my guy, and like I have to have him on one of my teams, so I'm gonna make sure that I have him on one of my teams. I drafted like 3 Titans in a row. Like once we started getting to the bench unit, I got Ridley. I got both the running backs, Pollard and Spears. So, yeah, I just had fun with it. My quarterback's Kyler Murray. I waited a long time on quarterback. But I got some good receivers. I got Olave, Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley. Yeah. So, like, I can work with it. I
got a draft tonight, the league I've been in for 20-something years with my buddies. And ours is an auction draft.
I got one of those this weekend, too.
So, we always, what I always do is, like, I'll find my friends. Like, if you were in my league, I would propose Derrick Henry at $20. And it's a $200 cap league. So,
yeah, I got you.
So, and then once you bid on him, I would drive it up to 20.
Yeah,
and if I end up getting stuck with the guy, fine.
Whatever.
It's worth it just to make you nervous or make you upset or try to trade him to you. So there's a lot of that in this league where we all like go back and forth. I have my fantasy football cheat sheets here. I'm looking at my players.
Nice.
We get to keep one guy from the previous year, and I kept ETN on the Jaguars. And I kept him at like $30, which is a good running back would go for that. I'm hoping he has a good year this year, stays healthy, all that stuff. So.
Yeah. I'm just I've knocked 2 out. I've got 4 to go, and now they start getting like. Now I got to get serious. Like I had my fun. Now I got to get real serious with the ones coming up.
The one guy that I always go above what his value is a kicker. And it's Youngmisuk on the Falcons. So I just like him. People get a kicker for $1 in these leagues. I'll go to a $5 for him.
That's outrageous.
Whatever.
That's outrageous, dude.
Yeah, $5 for a kicker.
Draft your kicker last.
I do.
That's the rule.
But if somebody
kicker last,
I see one of my friends is gonna put Youngmisuk in there at like $5 and try to make me go above and beyond. Like, and I don't mind, like, whatever. My budget's my budget, but I want my guys. Same way you did.
I hear you. Yeah.
So you took Derrick Henry in the first round.
Yep. I did. I'm ready to ride with the king. I mean, dude, he's a staple on my fantasy rosters for years. Like, I'm not gonna not have the guy until he retires.
You sound like the actual Titans GM. Like he's a staple on my roster for years.
Well, I am a GM, okay? I'm a GM of this fake football team, all right? So, yeah, I'm taking it seriously. No, that's my guy, dude. I'm rolling with him. Until he retires, he's going to be on one of my fantasy teams every year.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a break.
Yep.
We're going to come back here in a second. My guy, Youngmisuk from ESPN, is going to join us. We're going to talk about the Clippers. We're going to talk about music and other stuff, basketball. I don't know what we'll get into. Ohm's a good dude. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back here in a couple minutes here on the Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media.
I actually saw these on TikTok before you guys even sent them to me. This is an interesting concept. They're socks that are anti-creasing.
The socks look really comfy.
They do.
But the anti-creasing thing, like, look, why are we still doing this?
So the kids now that are under us, if you see them walking, they walk like
my mom's a gym teacher, and she says like kids will like.
I think that's always
Who cares? The Sneak Fest Show live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Hey Grizzlies fans, after exciting hoops and a lucky night of gaming, where do you rest your head? Look no further than Southland Casino Hotel, proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Our high-rise hotel is the epitome of luxury and comfort. Picture this, you've just finished an evening of gaming and dining, so you head on over to one of our 300 rooms to end the night. Choose from standard, suite, and presidential suite, plus we're pet-friendly and offer mobility scooters for rent. It's a seamless experience for everyone. And don't miss the Main Street Exchange, right in the heart of our casino lobby. Whether you're craving a snack or need a souvenir of your stay, we've got you covered. From polo shirts to shot glasses, take a piece of the Southland excitement home with you. So come stay and play at Southland Casino Hotel, where every moment is designed for your enjoyment. Book your hotel stay by calling 833-703-3350 or visit online at southlandcasinohotel.com/hotel.
Guests must be 21 years of age or older to check in at hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Gigi gonna be just fine, bro. Like he probably, like Josh probably number one, and he's probably number two most talented teammates I've ever had.
Just raw talent.
Like,
wow.
Bro, like
just go to the gym, hoop type stuff.
Like you walk in the gym and he might be doing a workout, and you're gonna look over and be like, damn.
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Looking at the college football playoff and the odds to make the college football playoff, This is the top 13 teams. 7 of these 13 are out of the SEC.
I think that first year in the SEC is going to be different. Like I do. I just think it's going to be different.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I am Lang Whitaker sitting in for GP. We are in the Built for Tough studio here right across the street from FedEx Forum. And when Bennett told me I was going to host today, and he was like, we don't normally have a guest on Thursdays, so if you want to have someone, I was like, oh, I know who I want to have. I want to have the guy who I text with. I told him I was going to do this next time I was hosting one of these shows. So I called up my guy, Youngmisuk from ESPN. And made him wake up early out on the West Coast. And he's up. What's up, Om?
What up, Lang? I was, I think, maybe 25-year-old Lang might be able to relate to this. Maybe not so much you now, but I was up till probably about 4 in the morning playing some college football. So
I relate. I relate. I've been
playing college football like crazy on I don't know, I think I'm on season 3 now, winning my 3rd national championship with Michigan State. So
yeah, you're a Spartan. You always have been. I did it, and I'm not using Georgia because I felt like it's cheating to use Georgia. So I took over Kennesaw State, and I put together a 3.5-star recruiting class for my first class, and I'm trying to upgrade the talent, but it's slow going, man. That roster was down bad, so I'm trying to get it back together. I found
Kennesaw State's schedule must be insane when you're scheduling people.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm trying I had all my recruits come in for a visit, and I was playing Liberty, and Liberty just boat raced me. And I was like, oh no, the recruits aren't going to want to come here now. But,
yeah. Not to bore all our listeners, but that first season of Michigan State, because the Big Ten is insane now. I literally, I think, was running down the clock on every possession right down to the final play to beat people 14-7.
Yeah, I'll end up skipping through on defense sometimes. I'll just sim, a defensive possession just to go back on offense and play it. But yeah, when I'm on offense, I'm trying to let the play clock bleed down to 5, 4. And then yeah, I'm right there with you. Hey, I saw the story you did yesterday on ESPN.com about Ty Lue and the Clippers. And what Ty Lue kind of took away from the Olympics and being an assistant coach on Team USA. Summarize it for us. I mean, basically, the thing I took away from that was you got him. Jeff Van Gundy is now one of the assistant coaches for the Clippers. They lose Paul George, but they've got all these kind of basketball nerds behind the scenes there that are going to try and turn this thing into something that can compete this year.
Yeah. So the story started out as what's it like to be in this room with some of the greatest minds that we've ever seen in the NBA, and Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, Ty Lue, and Mark Few. Yeah. And they have this chat group, and I thought, oh, this chat group must be amazing because you have some of the best basketball brains we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. What's it like? And then that story kind of morphed into, and the chat group is pretty awesome. They don't really talk basketball in there. Yeah. I think they do congratulate each other on big wins and stuff like that, but they mostly are it's jokes, and it's
college football
laughs.
Dynasty.
Yeah, like Mark Few apparently is the comedian of the group. Huh. They said he is absolutely hilarious. Huh. And I think what Mark Few does is he kind of busts on them because they're all NBA guys, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll be watching such an important game tonight on a Tuesday night in January. He just makes fun of the NBA having so many games where in college every game matters. It's important, right? Yeah. And so, but the story then morphed into the Clippers getting Jeff Van Gundy, and how Ty Lue basically has been getting his basketball brain ready earlier than normal for regular season, but he's also getting a head start on, I think, what's going to be a marriage that's going to really determine how good the Clippers are this season in, getting on the same page with Jeff Van Gundy, who hasn't, he's long been the guy that every team has wanted, on their sideline, but he hasn't done this in 17 years.
Yeah.
And so, those two were having dinners in Paris, basically trying to get on the same page. Jeff Van Gundy, when he wasn't working on Team USA, and I think he has a multitude of duties, like from scouting to being an assistant coach to rebounding. I think you saw in like basically film, or like people were shooting video of him on practice on the court. Like he's like moving around as a decoy on offense with LeBron on him. You know what I mean? So he pretty much did it all. But like they would have these dinners together, and Van Gundy was like, when he wasn't working on his Team USA stuff, he was on his laptop watching every game from this past season from the Clippers to try to catch up.
Yeah.
So, Van Gundy's already like, in no sleep mode already. And I think Ty Lue's already like that. Those two are going to be like team no sleep this season.
Feels like that's how Van Gundy's comfortable. Like he's not comfortable unless he's like sleeping on the couch on top of a dry erase pen that he forgot to move, and like wearing dirty socks.
As long as he's not driving. So I covered Jeff Van Gundy. He was my very first NBA coach that I covered in 1997, and he used to drive like this. I'm pretty sure this is the only reason why he's not driving it anymore. I think he had a Honda Civic.
I remember
even
that.
like even to his second or third season as head coach of the New York Knicks. And the only reason why he didn't have it anymore is because when they parked it near the tarmac where all the players are supposed to park, the plane had moved and the plane blew his Honda Civic like over, and so he had to get a new car. So otherwise I think Jeff Van Gundy would probably show his Honda Civic would be in the Clippers parking lot basically at 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's amazing. I reading your story, I was thinking, all right, you lose Paul George, you have to like make up for that somehow. And Kawhi Leonard's still on the roster. If he's healthy, great. Maybe we get something out of that. Then I like casually in the story, I forgot. Oh yeah, James Harden is still on the Clippers. like James Harden, like you need someone to like step up and get you some buckets. Like you got James Harden.
Yeah, I don't, last year James Harden was way more of a distributor than a scorer.
Yeah.
I think he can do it in flashes, but this season they're going to need him to do it a lot more. Last season when he came on, he almost to a fault, he was like not looking for his shot.
Yeah.
To the point where like, he would get a wide open catch and shoot, and he was like hesitating and passing on it because he's just so used to like, after how many years of just creating his own shot and doing those step backs and everything like that. But he was so trying to fit in with Kawhi and Paul George and everybody else that he wasn't looking for a shot at all. He just kind of wanted like to distribute. This season's going to be a lot different, I think. I mean, he's still going to be pick and roll maestro and all that, but I think he's going to have to be much more aggressive, average like, 22 points or something, like 20 points, because that's what they're trying to fill is like 22 points and I think 41% 3-point shooting from Paul George.
Bennett just mentioned in the chat here that your setup is dope. And when you came on Zoom with us, I noticed the Boba Fett mask and the Jabba the Hutt. And I was like, oh, Bennett's going to love this because he's a big Star Wars guy. And I also, as I was thinking about it, I just remembered you went to the Disney World thing when it opened, the Star Wars, what do they call it? The Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
You went with the Lopez brothers, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it was actually when the Resistance
Rise of the Resistance
opened.
Yeah.
And so I've known Brook Lopez for a long time from when he was with the Nets.
The Nets, yeah.
And we geek out because Brook Lopez is the ultimate, NBA nerd who just loves sci-fi. I'm telling you, if the dude was a doctor in anything, if he had a PhD, would probably be in like comics and like DC Comics especially.
He'd be Doctor Who.
That dude could literally tell you everything about Batman and everything else, but he's also a huge Disney guy.
Yeah.
And so we had always talked about I would always say, I want to go to like, Comic-Con in San Diego.
Yeah.
Let's go together. And he'd be like, yeah, sure. But then like we would always talk about like when Star Wars and when Star Wars came out at Disney, then we started talking about the new ride. And so we're like, let's go. And then, I don't know, one day like we were talking and I just said, hey man, the ride's opening up this year. Are you going to go? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm actually going to, he goes, we have a game in Milwaukee against Detroit or against Cleveland or something like that. And then we have a day off. We have a practice day and then a following day off. And then the next day we have a home game against Detroit. We're going to try and go that day from Milwaukee. And I go, how are you going to do it? He's like, private jet. And I go, can I come with you? He's like, yeah, sure. Come on. I was like, can I literally like follow you and write about it and have a camera with us? And he was like, yeah. And so once we were able to finally like finalize that, I flew up to Milwaukee, watched their game, The next morning, met the Lopez twins because both of them were on the team at the same time. Met them at the private airport. We got on the plane, literally flew down to Disney for just a few hours. I think we were only there for like maybe 4 to 5 hours. Walked around the park with them. Of course, they got like access. It was like boom, boom, boom. You know, we didn't have to wait in line. At one point, I think Josh Damaro, who's the head of Disney Parks, like escorted us onto the ride.
That's amazing.
And so we got onto the ride. It was incredible. And then, like, the next, you know, we're running back to the plane, got on the plane, flew back to Milwaukee, and the next morning they had shoot around.
That's incredible. I've actually DM'd with Robin about Disney stuff. When I'm going to Disney World, I'll ask him, like, hey, what do I go on? What's the best things? And he'll give me advice too.
Yeah, so I'm like a big bobblehead guy, and I think Brooke has like one of the sickest bobbleheads ever. It's him. I know a lot of NBA teams do the Star Wars stuff now, but he was like the first. I think it was when he was with the Nets, maybe, and he had the Star
Jedi
Wars
one?
bobblehead. Yeah, that's like one of the coolest ones. I got to get my hand on one of those.
I actually have that bobblehead. The Nets. Some of the teams I've covered for a long time know I love bobbleheads.
Yeah.
I have like a Manute Bol bobblehead right behind me.
Yeah.
But I have that bobblehead somewhere. He's like holding a lightsaber.
Yeah,
He's
I
got the
remember
robe
that.
on. Yeah. It was dope.
I actually just got the Outcast bobblehead the Braves did, and it's Big Boy and Andre 3000 in a Cadillac.
That one's
and
awesome.
Both heads bounce. It's pretty great.
My complaint about bobbleheads today is they're not bobbleheads. They're too small.
That's right. They don't make them like they used to. You're right.
Like Lang, when I have some of my bobbleheads, and I pulled one out the other day, and I had like a Stephon Marbury Nets one, and it's like real, like you're scared to break it. You know what I mean? It's like the head is so big, it's like it feels like it's porcelain too. You know what I mean? And like these are so small that they break easily too, but you can barely even see them. They don't have the big head anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, they don't. Maybe it's like cheaper to manufacture now or something that way.
Right.
I don't know. But the thing I really want to talk to you about, is the thing you always DM me about, which is like 90s R&B. Like I have,
or yacht rock.
Yeah, yacht rock and 90s R&B. Sends me.
Shout out Memphis, because every time I'm in Memphis, like, and you know this, there's always an old school concert.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be like, hey, are you coming into Memphis this weekend? Because it's Keith Sweat and Teddy Riley and all these guys.
Babyface and Anita Baker.
Yeah, coming in the night before, and I'm like, oh man, they never sent me to Memphis.
We just had Lionel Richie. We just had who else was just here? There was some Earth, Wind, and Fire and Lionel Richie together. Like
Maxwell's coming.
Maxwell's coming. Yeah, in a couple weeks. We got a lot of that coming on. But is it fair for me to say that your favorite group of that era is Color Me Bad?
No, it is not Color Me Bad. Although the soundtrack to New Jack City is one of my all-time favorite movie soundtracks, because I think like 6 of the first 7 songs are all like New Jack hits.
Okay.
You know, so like, but no, my favorite group from that era would be Guy. That's my favorite New Jack Swing, late 80s, early 90s group.
I'm looking at the New Jack City soundtrack right now. Christopher Williams.
Name like the first 7 songs.
Guy, Johnny Gill, Keith Sweat, Danny Madden. I don't know who that is.
That's the only one that's not.
Troop and Levert, Color Me Bad.
Yeah,
it's got all of it. Anyway, so I told you, like, I love listening to the Yacht Rock station, and I came up with
that is so on brand.
I came up with a subgenre.
All the sense in the world.
I came up with a subgenre called Yacht R&B. And
you got beat to it.
I know. I've seen this. Now on Sunday mornings on Yacht Rock, but they call it something else. They call it
so it's a temporary station. I just heard it last night. It's called Yacht Soul.
Yeah, Yacht Soul.
It's like Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
It's like all of these like basically 80s, 70s, 80s R&B, which is funny because whenever I listen to Yacht Rock in the car, my wife is like, this isn't Yacht Rock, man. You know, it'll be like Bobby Caldwell or something like that. And she'll be like, you know, this is R&B.
That's
and
true.
I'm like, you're missing the point. I'm like, Yacht Rock to me is like white R&B from like the 70s to early 80s, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it incorporates black artists. And but now they got this Yacht Soul, which is basically your Yacht R&B.
So my Yacht R&B playlist I have I'm looking at it right now. It's got some Quincy Jones, George Benson, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, Jeffrey Osborne, James Ingram, Kool and the Gang,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Human Nature, Lionel Richie,
Yes.
Bill Withers. Like,
Yes.
there could be a whole thing there with that. But like you said, now, and on Sunday mornings now on the Yacht Rock, they have like a whole like yacht soul block they do.
Yes. Yes. You're talking about the one with the DJ who basically is all a mix, right?
Yeah. There's a DJ that plays it. So, but anyway, I listen to a lot of the Yacht Rock, and I listen to Sirius XM a lot. And I told you, I've come up with some stations I would like Sirius XM to incorporate. Some ideas for stations I think would be a hit that would do very well. And I asked you to come up with 5 stations you would want to listen to also. So I'll go first. I'm going to give you a station, then you can give me one for you. First one is the Silver Fox Radio is what I'm calling it. And it's all artists who have gray hair. So you could go Michael McDonald in there. Bennett's nodding along. Like Bennett feels it.
I'm liking this. Yeah.
You could have it could go lots of different ways. You could have like Michael McDonald. You could go to Willie Nelson. You could go to Emmylou Harris. There's lots of artists now. And now as the artists get older, but they have to have the gray hair when they did the song, like not current thing. But Michael McDonald had the premature gray, so he fits in from a lot of places. But that's my first one. What do you got for me? You got one of them?
So I've been listening a lot to First Wave.
Yep.
And so
me too.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten more into, that genre. And so on Saturdays, they have a DJ named DJ Bueller who does Saturday Night Safety Dance, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 8 hours of like 80s and like basically new wave. So I would want a station. My frustration is that it's only on Saturdays. I want a whole station that's Saturday Night Safety Dance the entire week, 7 days. Don't tell my wife, because my wife is just like, oh God, every Saturday I turn to her and we're in the car and I go, guess what time it is?
Safety dance.
And she'll be like, Saturday Night Safety Dance. And so like basically if I had a whole station that was that, I'd be very happy.
So I actually did a deep dive on the internet. DJ Bueller is not a person.
Multiple DJs, right?
It's a company. Yeah, it's a company that brands it as DJ Bueller, and they come up with these playlists of like, I guess it's like 80s new wave mostly, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah, I like Richard Blade and the Swedish Eagle on there. Those guys who like the DJs.
Yes. Yes.
All right, here's another station I want to have. Stevie Wonder harmonica station. All songs that have Stevie Wonder playing the harmonica, which could be his own music, but then there's lots of other artists where he plays the harmonica on their songs, from James Taylor to That's What Friends Are For to I Feel For You, the Shaka Khan song. Like, there's lots of other songs where Stevie Wonder has a harmonica on it. So I want the Stevie Wonder harmonica station. I would actually just take a Stevie Wonder station, but if we're getting granular, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Stevie Wonder station would be amazing. The harmonica, man, that's hardcore. By the way, going back to our earlier conversation, It wasn't Bobby Caldwell that my wife says shouldn't count as yacht rock. It was George Benson. George Benson
said. Definitely counts. Anyway.
Okay, so then my next channel would be the New Jack Swing channel, which I think they tried briefly when they had like a Teddy Riley channel.
Yeah.
But it was weird. It was like some of the songs that were related to Teddy Riley. I don't know. It really wasn't New Jack Swing. I'd want this to be like all late 80s to early 90s R&B and even rap, that New Jack Swing sound, whether it's Big Daddy Kane, Guy, anything that Teddy Riley kind of touched during that time, but also just that entire era right there. I want that to be 24/7, not just like, temporary.
I got another one. I was telling Bennett, I thought about this one the other day, the karaoke channel. And so it's just music that plays with no singing. And then, on the screen, the little crawl, they could have the words go by. So you're driving your car and
you're going to get into an accident.
That sounds safe. Yeah.
Whatever. You're doing the car and Free Fallin' comes on and you're like, oh, she's a good girl. You read the thing, you can start singing it. But like, we all sing along to the radio in the car, right?
Yes.
Like, why don't we just have a station that lets us rock, lets us do our thing? So that's
because we would all be getting into accidents 100%. Otherwise, I think we do. I'm actually guided. I love karaoke, but I cannot karaoke without. I'm like Anchorman. I have to see the screen and the words. I don't know why. No matter how many times I've done the song, no matter how much I know the song by heart, I have to be able to read the words. And sometimes, like back in the day, the words wouldn't be correct all the time.
Yeah.
One word might be off.
Yeah.
Whatever it looked like it was like translated by somebody in Japan, so the English would be just slightly off.
Yeah.
And I would read that right into the song.
Even though you knew the actual words.
Yes. Yes.
All right, you're up. Give me another station.
This obviously would not be able to be pulled off, probably because of copyrights, but mine would be a Michael Jackson versus Prince channel.
Ooh.
So in New York, they do this sometimes. They used to have these Michael Jackson versus Prince nights, where this DJ, I think it was DJ Spinna, would basically play not only every hit from that artist, but every hit they've ever written or produced, or every hit that any other band that used, like, sampled their music, basically was from that family. It ended up being part of the Michael Jackson or Prince family. Like, Sheen Easton would be part of Prince, the Bangles, anything that Prince wrote for somebody else. And it was amazing. Those nights would be amazing. I'm telling you, if they did a channel like that, it would be incredible.
Well, you mentioned samples. This is my fourth one here is I want the sample station, where we hear a song that samples something, and then you hear the actual song back to back.
Yes.
Just all it is, just two in a row, of every song. We hear a song with the sample, then we hear the song with the sample, hear the song, just back and forth. Like,
by the way, which would absolutely crush a lot of people, like my wife, who thinks like, oh no, this is the first time this song was ever made. This is the original, and I'd be like, oh no. Our friend J.A. Donde.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because he's really into that particular genre of who samples what. He sends me stuff on Instagram all the time being like, dude, check this out. This was sampled from this. And I'd be like, what? And so I think he has an app. I think there's an app or something that helps him know what's been sampled. So, like, he knows where it's coming from. So he would definitely be the program director for that channel.
That's amazing. First I thought you meant Jay made an app, and I was like, what? Like, he
I don't know. I'm pretty sure, because he was looking stuff up, and it was like almost as if he had an app. One day I was driving him somewhere, and he was looking on something that like it was almost like an app, and he was like, yeah, this was sampled from this, and I was like, what?
That's amazing. All right,
so my next channel would be basically, I think, they probably wrote the soundtrack to my life, basically, at growing up. And two of the greatest producer writers, I think, of that 80s, 90s R&B genre, they pretty much wrote almost every hit from that era, would be a Babyface versus Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis station. So Babyface and L.A. Reid, obviously, and then Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They, Janet Jackson, Boyz II Men, Bobby Brown, they did it all during that time. That would be an unbelievable station, because I think when I go see Babyface in concert, so many people don't understand or don't know that Babyface pretty much wrote almost everything.
Every song.
And so when he does a medley of all the songs that he wrote for, like all the hits for like Mariah Carey and everybody, people are just blown away by that. So
Whitney Houston, Madonna, like all these other people. Yeah. My last one is the one that I think is going to be the biggest hit, and I would not be surprised if we see SiriusXM actually do this. I'm putting it out there in the world. They can take it. I don't want money. The RIP station. The RIP station. And it just celebrates dead artists. And as soon as somebody dies, they just start playing that artist nonstop for like 2-3 days, because that's what happens. Like, when Prince dies, the 80 station just plays Prince for like 3 days. When somebody else passes away, they play their music all the time. So the RIP station, and maybe the name's a little coarse. Maybe we change it to, we remember you or something like that. Yeah. But the station just plays the music. And then if there's like a stretch where nobody passes away, we do a Elvis marathon, or some great, the Sinatra marathon, some iconic artist who's
like on their birthday.
Yeah, on their birthday, that's it. But we're at this point now where there were so many artists from the 70s, 80s, 90s who are of age. They all lived hard lives, touring, doing all this stuff. Like, we're losing people left and right. Yeah. This station, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like this down the road.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's when Michael Jackson was planning his tour in London.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson's the one guy like I felt like I never got to see.
Yep.
And so when he did that, I told my friend, I was like, we are getting up at 4 a.m. to battle the world to get tickets to this tour. And of course, it was only like at the time eight shows, and we lost. But then he added like 40 shows after that to make it like 50. And I remember thinking, he's not going to survive this tour. Then he ended up dying prior to that. And so ever since then, I'm like, I got to see all these people in concert, because if they're touring, you just never know.
Yep.
Like, I'm glad I get to see Phil Collins before he stopped touring because, and at that point he couldn't even he was in a wheelchair because he had just had back surgery or something like that when I saw him. But yeah, that channel, you've long talked about it, and so you need patent rights on it.
I know. No, it's free.
SiriusXM
I'm putting it out there
does
to the world. I can't patent death. I'm just giving it. I'm giving it to SiriusXM. They can take it. Give me your last one.
My last one would be probably a little unexpected by you, but I think there should be a Lilith Fair channel. I used to love every woman that sang that genre in the 90s. It was Sarah McLachlan,
Indigo
Natalie
Girls.
Merchant. Yeah, but you throw in any great female vocal from that time, whether it was Cranberries,
Paula Cole.
Paula Cole, Natalie Imbruglia, any of those, Lisa Loeb. Put it on that channel. I'd listen to that channel all the time.
The Lilith channel. Maybe the Lilith Fair is copyrighted, but we could just go with Lilith. Hey, last thing before you go, you mentioned concerts. You went to the Bruno Mars concert at the Intuit Dome, or whatever it's called, the Intuit Arena.
Yeah.
What is that place like?
The Intuit Dome, well, they had issues. It was the opening night. And so the thing is when you go in, you have to sign up for their app to go in. This is high-tech stuff, and it was very glitchy in the beginning.
This is the Clippers, I should say, this is the Clippers' new home arena for this season.
This will be the Clippers' new home arena, which has an unbelievable, they have their screens called the Halo, and it's a football size basically screen that just wraps around the entire arena, but above the court. So if you're at a certain level, you're probably and that screen isn't just showing basketball. It's almost like NBA 2K in one section. There's a coaches section where you can watch almost replay film, with analytics on it and everything like that. But when you walk in, you're supposed to not even really have to show your phone or anything. It's supposed to be facial recognition, just recognizes your face, I believe. I actually got to go through VIP, so I didn't have to deal with that. But it was I think almost a 2-hour delay because people had trouble getting in because the technology wasn't really working the way it should. But when you get in there, if you're going to grab food, there's so many cameras. It's more cameras in there, I think, than an airport. That's what it feels like. And at any point, if you go grab food, you don't have to pay. The camera just recognizes you. Your app is linked to your face and basically your credit card, and so you can just go anywhere and not actually have to pay at any point. If you do go to the bar, I think if you're in VIP area, you might use a credit card, but other than that, there's the whole thing is supposed to be there's no lines. So I'm telling you, if you get a chance to go to the arena this year, I loved arenas. I especially love new ones because I love checking out technology. This screen, when they get it down and they get the technology down, that arena is going to be incredible.
Cool. I want to come see it. I want to come see it and come hang out with you and drive in your car and listen to 90s music. Thanks for waking up with us this morning, my guy.
All right. Thanks for having me anytime.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Youngmisuk from ESPN. And we'll be back in just a minute here on Grind City Media on the Gary Parrish Show.
The fans are ready for a healthy team. The team is ready to be healthy and rebrand themselves going into this year.
And I think this year is the Remind Me Tour. This team needs to come out and remind people who they are.
Say that again.
It's the Remind Me Tour. Hashtag Remind Me.
Yeah, you just started something. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Looking at the college football playoff and the odds to make the college football playoff, this is the top 13 teams. 7 of these 13 are out of the SEC.
I think that first year in the SEC is going to be different. I do. I just think it's going to be different.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I saw the Drew Hill story. Y'all rode together in the car, and you put the seat back.
Yeah, I put the seat all the way back, and his knees were still crunched up. And he was like, "Nah, bro, so I drive a Kia, man."
A Kia?
What?
He's 7'4", yo.
Yeah, I don't know how he does.
He got the seats removed.
Somehow.
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, turn your stadium excitement into betting action at Southland Casino Hotel. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, Southland brings you more gaming action than ever before. Step onto our massive casino floor stretching more than 2.5 football fields. Slot enthusiasts can enjoy more than 2,300 machines from penny slots to high limits and play the hottest games like Aristocrat, Dollar Storm, Cloverlink, and Lightning Cash. Table game aficionados can feel the thrill of the felt with 50 live table games. From 3-card to blackjack match, we're ready to deal you in. Plus, don't miss stadium gaming for an interactive digital experience. And for high rollers, our high limit room is calling your name. Go big on 6 high limit blackjack tables or spin one of our 54 high stakes slot machines. Throw in 8 delicious dining options and a 300-room high-rise hotel, and there's plenty to keep you going. At Southland Casino Hotel, the gaming excitement never stops.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, on evenings, and even on Saturdays. So the next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's Ortho South at orthosouth.org.
What's up? Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker. We're coming to you live from the Built for Tough studio. Talking about surprising things and things that are unforeseen. Bennett, how's that burrito sitting with you?
It was all right. It was okay. So I was a little hungry when I got in here this morning, and I was like, hey, I'm going to run over to Starbucks real quick. And they had like a new, when you go into like a Starbucks or anything.
New items.
Yeah, the new items like right there. And you're like, hey, I'll take that. And it was some like breakfast burrito. And after I ordered it, dude, I feel disgusting. It was like 700 calories. It was just like, I swear it was, and I'd already ordered it. Like, it was like, I ordered it and then I looked at the thing, and usually like you see like the breakfast menu at Starbucks and it's like, 250, 300 calories. And this thing, it was like 680 calories. I was like, my God. It was good though. It was like a sausage.
I only asked because during the last break,
burrito.
You got up to like change the input on the TV and you were moving a little slow. And I was like,
I'm feeling a little sluggish. I'm feeling a little sluggish. I'm not a big, I'm a big breakfast guy on the weekends. During the weekdays, I typically don't even eat. My breakfast is coffee. And so, but I'm good. I'm good. Let's do this. Let's see if we can get through 5 more things.
We got 5 more things to get through.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Number
you
one.
got to play the sounder. Yeah.
I thought I was getting attacked. Number one is somebody on Twitter has leaked what allegedly is the Memphis non-conference basketball schedule. And it's some heavy hitters on there. It's from Hitman Hoops on Twitter.
Shout out to Hitman Hoops. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
But their account is pretty awesome. They always got the info. So shout out to Hitman Hoops.
It says it's the founder of Tiger Blueprint, but it doesn't say who it is. There's an exhibition, TBD. They're going to play Alabama in exhibition.
Yeah. So this is coming off the news yesterday that they inked a deal to play Ohio on November 15th. And so I believe maybe Rocco Miller had it first, and Hitman Hoops is confirming that the non-conference schedule is set for Memphis men's basketball. Again, not official, but this is what it's looking like it's going to be heading into the season. We're still waiting on another exhibition, like you said, and then you got an exhibition versus the Crimson Tide on October 28th.
But there's some good games in there.
Dude, their non-conference is loaded. It's a really good schedule.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Clemson, Virginia. And then UConn in the Maui Invitational. They get UConn, either Colorado, Michigan State, Auburn, North Carolina.
Yeah, so me and GP talked about it a lot when that Maui got announced and it was confirmed that they were going to play UConn in the first game. And he besides, other than Colorado, I think every one of those teams was a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I mean, even if they go like 1 and 2, it's still pretty successful, all things considered, just because they're playing like some juggernauts of the sport in that Maui Invitational. So if they can go there and make some noise, they'll be ranked early in the season for sure. You got Missouri on there, like you said. At UNLV is kind of interesting. San Francisco, Ohio, both of those. San Francisco's on a neutral. We talked about Maui. You've got Louisiana Tech, Arkansas State, at Clemson, at Virginia. Those are the last year both of them came here. You're going on the road there. You got Mississippi State coming in here, Ole Miss coming in here. It's a loaded non-conference schedule, dude. And I got to give Penny Hardaway all the credit because people could say whatever they want. He has killed it.
He wants the smoke.
Dude, he has killed it in this non-conference schedule the past couple seasons. Like, it's Penny Hardaway, Ryan Silverfield, those guys cannot help like who they have to play in their conference schedule. Like we've said all we need to say about what the AAC is right now, but they're trying to, I mean, we got Florida State like for Memphis football coming up this season. We just talked about this basketball non-conference schedule. Like those guys are trying to give the fans something to care about. I know obviously Florida State's on the road, but
it also it gives the team a chance to prove something too, right? Like
dude.
Like look, we're not beating up on these small non-conference teams. Like we're playing some big dogs, and if we can win some of these games, there's like 15 games I counted. It could be depending, I guess, on how far you go in the tournaments, but that's. You come out of that 10-5, something like that. You're like, wow, like that's a pretty good, and it helps your strength of schedule and all that stuff too.
Yeah, because I think that with Memphis basketball, well, obviously you want to stay afloat during that non-conference schedule. Like you can't just have some bad record going into conference play. You're screwed at that point.
Like Florida State football.
Yeah,
go ahead.
But exactly. But if you can get some signature wins in that non-conference schedule, again, I know how things have gone the past couple seasons, and it's hard to sit here and say, well, he's got a veteran team now and things are going to be different this season. We got to see it.
Yeah.
Like we have to see it. But that conference schedule, it's going to be bad, and they should be able to beat up on teams. They just should be able to beat up on teams. So
but there's been a lot of they should have.
I know
they could the last few years.
I know, but
unfortunately,
you're going to have. I mean, again, you're going to out-talent everyone in that conference. I mean, you just are. You're going to out-talent everybody. You just are. And so if they can put it all together and get some real good chemistry going in this non-con, I think it could be a fun season. Yeah. It's weird because typically during the Penny Hardaway era, we've come in and the expectations have just been so high every season. I mean, other than like maybe the first one, right? The expectations have been so high, and this seems like the first year where they're not as much. I think just because of how it went last season. But like I said, you go out, you kill it in the transfer portal, and there's going to be a bunch of good players on this roster again. And so it's set up for them to have success.
Yeah.
It is. So hopefully they can get some wins. I'm stoked for that UConn game. I mean, that's just an awesome game for the fact that we get to play UConn. So,
and maybe it's a kind of a reloading UConn. Like at that point in the season, it's all their better players graduated or went to the NBA. So maybe it's guys who are still trying to get used to each other. Maybe you can, make something happen there early on.
Yeah, for sure. And then other than that, I'm looking at all these games and seeing if anything else really stands out. I love the Mississippi State Ole Miss.
That's cool. Playing both
Mississippi
of them.
State's December 21st here at FedEx Forum. Ole Miss December 28th. So that's pretty cool. You'll get a bunch of opposing fans here for that one too, which would be great.
And the Grizzlies have 2 home games in between that too, so it's like a whole week of basketball over the holidays.
Dude, it's going to be a big December in this building.
I know, that's pretty cool.
There's a lot going on. So
Number two,
we got college football week 1 finally is here, and it really kicks off tonight. Are you more excited about Colorado, North Dakota State?
I was gonna say, can you get me interested in the kickoff of week 1 starting tonight?
I'll be watching. I'm wearing a Deion Sanders shirt.
Yeah,
I grew up in Atlanta. Deion's my favorite was my favorite athlete when I was a kid because he was on the Falcons and Braves at the same time. So I've always supported Deion, and I've always liked Deion and admired Deion. And I don't know if they're going to beat North Dakota State tonight. I mean, look, they've got two of the best players in the country on that team, but they got to play against a team that, like, I think was ranked number 2 in the FCS right now. And we've seen Colorado, they started last year 3-0 and then went 1-8 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So, like, which Colorado team are we going to get? Are we going to get the 3-0 Colorado start, or are we going to get the 1-8 team that kind of coasted to the finish line?
Yes. So Luke, our one of our social media directors,
who's from North Dakota.
That's what I was going to say. He went to North Dakota, not North Dakota State. So he hates North Dakota State. But I mean, he was.
It's so funny. There's rivalries like that.
I know. But that's actually what's really cool about college football.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, no offense to North Dakota, but like, what's going on in
Do you think people in like?
Oh, I bet it's a huge deal. Like when North Dakota and North Dakota State play
in like Brazil. Do people from like South Rio hate North Rio University?
Right.
Are there like
it is
college
a uniquely
beefs everywhere?
It is like a uniquely
like
American
it's
thing.
Like a thing.
Yeah, it for sure is.
Rio versus Rio State.
Yeah,
anyway, North Dakota State and Colorado's favored by 9.5 in this game tonight. It's on ESPN in prime time. Like it's a thing. 9.5's a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people will. That's a fun line right there.
I don't bet against Deion.
Okay,
but
I mean, dude, Shedeur Sanders is awesome. Like,
and Travis Hunter is still on the team.
And Travis Hunter's still on the team. Yeah, they're gonna put up points.
You would think.
Yeah. They're going to put up points.
Well, the other game at the same time, I think tonight is the Jacksonville.
The biggest game. That's the biggest game as far as TV. Yeah.
Yeah, but Fox has a game on tonight too. North Carolina at Minnesota, and that's UNC's favored by 2 on the road at Minnesota. UNC loses Drake May. Is this addition by subtraction time for them? Like, I don't know. Mac Brown's still out there coaching. So that's an interesting game. That was on national TV. And then the other one that's kind of interesting is Coastal Carolina plays Jacksonville State. Those are just kind of funky teams to watch.
It's not. Coastal has the cool
it's at
field.
Jacksonville State in Alabama.
The aesthetics aren't going to be.
Coastal's favored by. I mean, Jacksonville State's favored by 3 in that one. The over/under in that Colorado game is 60.5 too. That's a lot of points. There's been a bunch of unders in week 0 and in the NFL preseason so far.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, I'm really looking forward to this game or anything like that. But you do. I mean, a lot of the AAC teams play tonight. Like Tulane and UAB, 2 teams that you played this season, both play tonight. So that's something for Memphis fans to keep an eye on. Kansas plays tonight. They're ranked. You got Missouri. Arkansas plays tonight. Like, dude, there's some
the other one
stuff,
that I'm kind of curious about tonight, and it's neither team's ranked. New Hampshire is playing Central Florida, and Central Florida is favored by 40. But I want to watch this game because KJ Jefferson is the quarterback at Central Florida now.
I didn't realize that.
Gus Malzahn's the coach, and I've seen some people float out there like Gus Malzahn has his Cam Newton now. He has one of those giant quarterbacks who can run, who can pass, who can do all these types of things. They're playing a team they're favored to beat by 40. Who knows what happens? But I'm kind of curious to see that. I'm a KJ Jefferson guy. I like him. And look, Gus can coach some offense. We know the Gus bus.
Oh, yeah, I think he's probably got to make a bowl game there or something this season, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a few years.
Yeah, and just it hasn't, the Big 12, like it's. I think that
his old
they're projected to finish pretty low in that.
It was Dylan Gabriel started there, remember?
Yeah,
and now he's like on the number 2 team, 3 team in the country in Oregon. So hasn't really. I think Gus hasn't really turned things around there the way people hoped he would. Is that fair to say? Like,
yeah, and that school, like. I'm a bit of a hater just because they had a small rivalry with Memphis for a while, but they put a lot of money into that thing, and so it does feel like for him that's one of those situations where it's like, dude, we're in the Big 12 now, like we're a real program.
They
like
must
you
have put some money
here
in to get KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're probably spending. So Okay.
Anyway, that's good.
Yeah, it's not a great slate, but there's some stuff that I'll watch for sure.
I'm definitely watching. I got a fantasy draft tonight, so like that's perfect to have on in the background. You know? Like,
yep. No doubt. And then tomorrow we'll go through like all the big games this weekend.
Well, the other one I got to watch tonight is Braves Phillies, but we talk about that in a minute. Anyway, last night in L.A.
Oh yeah, let me hang on.
We're talking about
number 3.
We're talking about bobbleheads, and last night in L.A. was Shohei Ohtani Bobblehead Night, and it was really just a Shohei Ohtani night. It seemed like on a lot of different levels.
Night. Yeah, so
every night's his night.
The Orioles got the win 2 nights ago. It was a really good game. And last night, like I watched, I stayed up for the whole thing. And I should have just gotten some sleep because I knew what was going to happen here, right? Like this was just set up for a magical Ohtani night. Okay, so I think we have a video. Like my friend who lives in LA is a big Dodgers fan. He lives near Dodger Stadium. He said the traffic was like absolutely outrageous. That's the line to get in. I think there was people lined up 7 hours before the game. Like some people were lined up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
As an avid bobblehead collector, Bennett, and appreciator. So normally at these type of nights, it's like the first 10,000 fans in the gate get the bobblehead, right? Something like that.
Yeah, this was
they're limited edition.
50,000.
50,000.
50,000.
How many people does that stadium hold?
I know. They had 50,000 bobbleheads.
Dodger Stadium capacity.
What's the capacity?
Because it can't be much more than that. 56,000.
Yeah, so they had 50,000 bobbleheads.
You figure you get there half an hour ahead of time, you're going to get one.
That you're going to get one, yeah. You knew it was going to be bobbleheads are popular. Bobblehead giveaways are popular. And the fact that it's Ohtani, the thing that I found interesting, the bobblehead is him and his dog. And I believe the next video we have is his dog doing the first pitch. I don't know his dog's name. It might be on the...
starts with an S.
It might be on the video. Okay, there we go. Decoy. That's a good
Decoy,
name.
that's it.
That's a good name for a dog. Look at Decoy. That's a good boy. Or girl. I'm sorry.
How do they train it to do that? Just... Is he giving it a little snack?
Yeah, so Decoy is on the bobblehead. I didn't get a picture of the bobblehead. It's just a generic. It's pretty cool.
Do you think the dog gambles?
Yes, yes, I do.
Ohtani's whole inner circle is like really into gambling.
Yeah,
he's not.
So the dogs on the bobblehead. The thing that I found really interesting, because I was looking at pictures of it, there was no sponsor. Which is kind of crazy. You would think that maybe it was too expensive
or maybe at the time, like when they were selling this thing at the start of the season, that's right when he was right in the middle of that scandal.
Oh, I like that theory. I like that conspiracy theory.
Maybe no company wanted to jump on board, because you would think if you went to some company and were like, hey, we're going to do this Ohtani giveaway thing, do you want to be involved with this? People would be tripping over themselves.
Suspended, you scrap it and you can't give them away.
Yeah. He just signed some new some partnership today or yesterday, I saw, with some new company. Like, I mean, he's still dealing with all this stuff.
Was Topps or Fanatics or something like that. Yeah, baseball cards.
So I mean, it's not like that stuff went away for him, but at the start of the season or in the off season when all this stuff was happening, maybe that was why. I'm just totally making that up.
There was one, like, this is the kind of thing that I would love to ever have happen to me. One person got the bobblehead, it's him holding his dog Decoy, and one person got a golden one. It's just
I saw that.
Yeah, man, I bet that thing is I was like, dude, and they took it out of the box. I'm like, please put that back in the box. See, don't mess that box up, because that thing's gonna have some nice value. Yeah, you need the box with it. So that was cool. And then of course, because it's this magical evening is set up. This is what happens. First at bat for Shohei Ohtani last night. I think we had the video.
Sure you want to watch this?
He launches one to right field. It sends Santander back. Shohei Ohtani meeting the moment, reading the room, and leaving the yard.
Yeah.
Did the Dodgers win?
Yeah, and the O's actually came back, took the lead, but the Dodgers ultimately won the game last night. Dude, he's so freaking awesome. It's insane.
I'm kind of an Ohtani hater.
Are you?
Because I'm a Braves fan.
Yeah.
And Ohtani gets all the praise in the National League. Best player, da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like Ronald Acuna is the best young player in baseball, only because I'm a Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize Ohtani pitches also, and is like crazy talented and all that stuff. And I just want to be like, all right, great. Can we get my guys some love? And
yeah, that's fair.
Acuna won the MVP last year.
All right.
if Ohtani was in the National League, I think Ohtani would get all the love and he would win the MVP. But I've had enough of the Ohtani thing.
Okay. He's pretty awesome.
He is.
So, me and my buddies that I'm in a group text with, it's like a little like gambling advice. If you need any, those Ohtani anytime home runs are amazing.
Yeah.
And last night, I think it was like plus 320 or something like that, dude. And we were all just sick because we all bet it, right? But we were all like, dude, why didn't we just like bet the house? Like that was a guarantee that on Ohtani Bobblehead Night, when the whole city of Los Angeles is trying to get in the game, that this dude's going to hit a home run.
They should have hit him with the first pitch.
Right.
The Orioles should have just come up there,
thrown it
just
as decoy.
Drilled him in the ass. So his first pitch, just hit him, put him on base.
Yeah. If I asked my friend in LA, Chris, if he could get me an Ohtani bobblehead. He's like, dude, are you serious? Like, no, I can't get one.
Let's see what they're going for.
I bet
eBay.
they're going for. I would say the lowest is going to be 150 to 200 on eBay
Ohtani
right now.
Bobblehead. 289.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani and Decoy Dog Bobblehead. Brand new in box. 289. There's another one for 225. So somewhere between.
I'd pay $100. I'd pay $100 for one of those.
The box is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. See, and there's no sponsorship, right? I didn't see one.
I don't see one.
Yeah. Typically, you get that with bobbleheads. My favorite are the and when Ohm was talking about it, man, I have the original Grizzlies set.
Yeah.
With it's like Shane and J. Will and Lorenzen Wright. Yeah, Stromae, Swift, Powell. They have the fat Grizzlies sitting behind you. I'm trying to Michael Dickerson. I think that was
There's
it.
Bibby in there.
No, there was
talking about
no
the 25
Bibby.
one? The 25th anniversary
No.
one?
I'm talking about the original OG bobblehead set that they came out with when they got here. When the franchise moved to Memphis, and because what he was talking about is they don't make bobbleheads like that anymore.
With
like
giant
these,
heads,
dude. And they feel like porcelain. Like they feel like if you could break them easily.
Sometimes the spring would get kind of screwy inside because the head was so heavy.
Yes. They don't make them like that anymore. Nobody does.
We sound so old. We're like,
I know they don't make them like that anymore. No, I'm a big proponent of the bobblehead giveaways. We did the Ja doing the gritty last season, I think, which was a cool one. In my opinion, every pro sports team should have a bobblehead night once a year. Like it is, it's
should have at least one.
Dude, bobbleheads are like the best giveaways.
We should ask somebody around here, but I wonder, like, how expensive are they to make? Like, is it? I guess that's why you have to call in a company to like sponsor it.
Super expensive. Yeah,
because then you're just giving away money basically.
But then again, like, I mean, the Redbirds. I don't know if the Redbirds do it anymore. They used to do bobblehead giveaways once a season. They had a really cool one that was they had it actually did like a Yachty bobblehead giveaway one year, which was really cool.
Here's personalized hand sculpted bobbleheads that we could make one for ourselves.
I need my own.
It costs $100 for a personalized one.
Dude, that's nothing. I'd do that.
Custom bobbleheads can be between $50 and $200. So let's see. Well, this says custom bobbleheads. If you order 250 pieces, you can get it as low as $3.50 per bobblehead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ordering 20,000 of them, 15,000 of them, I would assume you're paying $2 each, something like that, $1 each.
Yeah.
So that's between $20,000 and $40,000, which I don't know. Maybe that's not cost prohibitive to get more fans in the gate. I don't know how it works.
Right.
There's people here who we could ask.
I know.
For specifics on this.
I know. We need to get to the bottom of this. My favorite bobblehead that I own, though, it is the from that collection is the Lorenzen Wright Grizzlies bobblehead, and it's got the logo on it is Cecil's, which is not around anymore. It's a old grocery store that we used to have here in Memphis called Cecil's. Turned into then it became Schnucks, and now it's not around anymore. But it's just cool. Like that's my favorite one to look at.
I have a friend in Atlanta who goes to all the Braves games and gets the bobbleheads every time. And he's one of the ones you'll go through the gate and get one, and then go out and come back in another gate and get another ticket.
Yeah, because you got to have one that you open and put on the shelf, and one that you keep in the box.
So when the Outcast ones, when the Braves did the Outcast,
I want one of those so
last
bad.
year, I asked him. I was like, I'd never asked him, and I was like, look, I'm going to ask you, please go get me that thing. Like that's the only one I've ever asked for. So he went and got it for me, sent it to me. I immediately opened the box and it's on the mantle next over my fireplace. Like I was like, I'm not keeping this thing in the box. Like I want this out to be here.
I think that's one of the coolest ones of
they
recent
did it
memory.
again this year. They did the same one. The same bobblehead. They I guess it was so popular they had another night this year. Anyway, let's go to number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4.
All right, this was going around on the social medias yesterday, and it wasn't actually listed as Memphis BBQ in the tweets that I saw, but if you watch the clip, yeah, these guys are at the barbecue shop over on, what is it, Madison?
Yeah, we got the video. We want to play it.
Let's watch this video.
Yep.
Whoa. I know you're from where you're from.
We're foreign. What we don't know what we're doing.
Stop with the knife.
No, you don't need a knife?
No, you pull it apart with your hand. And listen, hold up. And you take your fingers and you lift that up and you eat it.
Okay.
Not with a fork.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry.
Enjoy holding your food and eating it like that.
I think it's 824, hoodie. I don't need one of those.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. No.
I'm sorry I let it get that far.
No.
Our
mistake. Our mistake completely. We're not used to meat being soft enough to just rip it apart without a knife. Okay. I mean, that's not normal. Mate, cheers. Cheers. To the best ribs in America. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait, what?
It is the most succulent meat with the most beautiful glaze.
Can you see how cleanly?
Do we know who these guys are?
I just found them.
Are they like, do they do this?
I'm sorry, I'm completely lost for words.
So they're two guys on
a little over the top, but I'll allow it. Because it's in Memphis.
They both remind me of the guy in Love Actually, the British guy who comes to America and hooks up with all the women.
Yeah.
And they just think the way he talks is cute and stuff. Like that's what it feels like. They're two guys. One guy's named Josh, one guy's named Ollie, and they have a YouTube channel called Jolly. And they are two best friends who have spent too much time on the internet, and they go around and there's another video of them trying Texas barbecue. But they go around because you can tell, like when I was watching that at first, like the camera cuts a couple times. So like this was clearly set up to be filmed. It wasn't just like somebody on their phone.
Let's stop and start again. Yeah, I got you.
You know,
I will say that's a great rib. That is those barbecue shop ribs. Like I'd put them up with anybody in town. Those are some of the best. Yeah,
those guys seem like they had never had meat falling off a bone before.
Right, that's right.
Of any kind, of any type. Like I don't know. Like British food isn't that bad.
I was gonna say, like
it used to
gets
be
a bad
worse,
rap.
But they got Jamie Oliver now and people like that. Like they're chefs over there.
So I was thinking when I was watching this video. First off, what's your favorite rib in town that you've had?
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on asking this. Do you have a favorite barbecue spot? I mean, you've been here a long time now.
I do like the Rendezvous ribs, but it's different than that because they're grilled and it's a different thing.
I think they're great too. I completely agree.
I love the Rendezvous rib, but then I also, as far as like that type of rib, you know what? I had a really good one at Corky's recently that was good.
They got pretty good ribs too.
Yeah.
They got pretty good ribs.
Barbecue shop's really good.
It just depends on like what you're getting and where. So
I like the wings at Central.
Yeah, exactly. Like my favorite sandwich is Payne's. But my favorite ribs probably barbecue shop.
I had the sandwich at Payne's recently, and that was transformative.
It's insane.
That was incredible.
It's
I got the coleslaw
unique.
on it. Yeah, you get little bits of skin in it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's
making me want to go over there right now.
Yeah, we might have to hit that up after the show. But I was thinking like, okay, so then what would be the British equivalent of this? And I realized,
chips.
Yeah, I mean, probably,
right.
But there is, as I was thinking about it, I've been getting these videos popping up in my feed on Instagram, and I was like, that actually might be it right now. And this is gonna sound so disgusting, but I want to try it. It's these guys, and I can't think of their name, but they have a food truck in. I think it's in London. It could be another city in Great Britain. But it's baked potatoes.
Okay.
Right? It's baked potatoes. It's Spud something. I want to say they're called Spud something. It's baked potatoes that they have all these different toppings that they put on, but most people get it with cheese and beans, and it looks disgusting, but like there's this line just like backed up super far, and now they've got all these viral videos of people coming to get. Some lady came from Denver just to go to
cheese and bean potatoes.
Yeah, dude. And now I'm curious. Like, I have to try that. And
I would try it.
And I guess it's their beans are maybe they said British beans. They look like baked beans,
yeah,
right?
They do. It's the same thing. I think I saw one the other day. It was a food truck in Texas, I think. And you show up with your own bag of potato chips, any kind you want.
I've seen this. This looks awesome. I want to do this.
And they basically like put all the toppings on it and make nachos out of it. And they put all different types of things. They slit the bag open, put all that stuff in there, and give you the bag back.
It looks so good.
It's like kind of a genius idea.
It really is. It looks awesome. Somebody brought like some just Lay's like salsa chips.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
They put all the topping.
The thing that would worry me about the beans and the potato is it's pretty much the same texture. Like I would want some crunch, some different things.
I agree.
And it feels like it would just be a big mushy bite of stuff.
I know. I'm curious with the whole thing though. People are shouting out Cozy Corner too, which is incredible.
Awesome.
Your Cozy Corner is amazing.
The Cornish game hen at Cozy Corner is one of my favorite things.
One of the best dishes in town.
I live right near Cozy Corner, and every morning I take my son to school at about 7:30ish, and we drive by Cozy Corner, and it's closed, but the smokers are running.
Oh yeah.
And I roll the windows down.
There it is. That's it right there. Oh, come on. That's a mean tweet. That's just wrong. It's not disgusting slop. People love it. Look at the line. It's not disgusting slop. I know. Doesn't that look a little funky? But I'd try it, dude.
I'd try it. Yeah.
The guys seem really cool too that run the truck.
When we were at Epcot last year, we went to the British part of the, what do they call it? You'll know, the Parade of Nations or whatever.
World Showcase.
I knew you'd know the name. There's a British pub restaurant thing there, and they have fish and chips, and you bite at the thing. And my son had never had it, and I was like, we're gonna get fish and chips.
Yeah, theirs are good.
And we put the malt vinegar on it, and the salt. And my son was like, it was like a transformative experience for him. He tried it, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing I've ever had. And 2 days later, we had to go back. It's friggin' 88 degrees and humid, and we're sitting there eating hot fish and chips in the sun. But
ain't nothing like good
it's hard
fish
to beat
and chips.
that. Yeah,
I'm with you, dude.
I mean, that's why salt and vinegar potato chips are so popular.
Right.
That's the flavor.
That's the flavor.
The same thing. That combination.
Very true. I need fish and chips right now too. Bog and Barley has good fish and chips. Yeah. Okay, let's go to number 5.
Number 5.
Invasive owls. Now, I don't know if you saw this story. This is kind of strange. There was a story yesterday that the killing of invasive owls on the U.S. West Coast is going to ramp up, and they have to do it to save other birds. So the story says U.S. wildlife officials are going to drastically scale up, this is from the Associated Press, efforts to kill invasive barred owls that are crowding out imperiled native owls. So it's like one owl is taking out the other owls. So they have to get rid of the barred owls. So they're going to have 30 years. They're going to kill 452,000 barred owls. That they think
B-A-R-D?
2 R's. B-A-R-R-E-D.
Barred owl. I want to see what it looks like. Oh, yeah. Okay. I hate this. When you send me, so like basically, but we were planning this out, you sent me like a bunch of different topics, and some of them we did, some of them we didn't. And this one I was like, actually, let's pull that one and do that one. Owls are one of my favorite animals. I've said that on this show before, which is ironic because most of the teams that Memphis plays against are owl mascots. There's like a million of them in the AAC. But I love an owl. I'm a big fan of owls, and I like these barred owls. Like, they're cool looking, and I don't know why we would do this.
We have too many of them. They're killing the other ones. So
what kind of birds are they killing? Let me hear. Let me hear what we're killing here.
They're killing imperiled native owls.
Oh, we got owl on owl.
Owl on owl. It's like the Crips and the Bloods.
Yeah.
And so the U.S. wildlife's getting in there to help out. And they're
we're helping other owls.
Yeah, by killing other owls.
I mean, that makes it a little bit easier to stomach, but I still don't like it.
There's a decline of competing northern spotted owls and California spotted owls. Those owls are weaklings.
They're so cool looking.
They can't. I mean, what happened to natural selection?
Yeah, man.
Shouldn't these owls stand up for themselves if they want to survive?
Let's just let this thing play out,
adapt, and live, or the barred owls are taking over.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is survival of the fittest. Like, what are we talking about here? Let's just let natural selection.
Well, okay, this is apparently controversial. Killing one bird species to save others has divided wildlife advocates. It's reminiscent of past government efforts to save the West Coast salmon by killing sea lions and cormorants, whatever that is. And they tried to preserve warblers, which are birds, by killing cowbirds that lay eggs in warbler nests. The barred owl removals would be the largest such effort to date involving birds of prey. Now, I should also just say this. I'm a little biased in this story, Bennett, because I don't like birds.
Why?
Because they will fly at you and rip a vein out of your neck and kill you.
Dude.
Birds are dangerous.
I love birds. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man?
They poop on your stuff. They poop on your yard.
I freaking love birds. I got a big bird feeder in my backyard.
Yeah, my wife has a big bird feeder in our backyard. You know what the birds do? Put seeds all over the place, all over the yard, all over everything. Now we get squirrels over there. The cats from the neighborhood come over. They're hunting the birds.
I don't like squirrels. I'm a big animal guy. I hate squirrels
because they're like rats. They just run around.
Yeah, and they mess up my they bite on the side of my house, and it's like
they bite on your bird feeder.
Dude, I have to run outside with a broom and like chase them out of my backyard. Yeah,
I don't hate birds. I'm not a fan of birds. They don't bring much to the table for me. My favorite birds are chicken because I can eat them. Chicken and a turkey.
I really like chicken, yeah.
Who doesn't like chicken?
No, I mean I'm more of a fan of I'm more of a fan of flying birds. I like flying birds. Yeah, and penguins. They don't fly, but I like them too. No, I mean I don't like this. I want to let it play out. I don't like what they're doing.
So you think we should just let them go?
Yeah, let them go. Let them go. They can come chill in my bed. Hey, if I need to take some of these barred owls and just let them loose, in my trees and everything, I'll take 10.
What if we rehabilitate them from the West Coast to Memphis?
Yeah, dude.
To the Mid-South.
Take some owls. I'd love to have some more owls. I never get to see them.
Well, this says barred owls are native to eastern North America, but they started appearing in the Pacific Northwest in the 1970s. So somebody must have taken them out there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think owls fly across country, do they?
I don't think they can make it that far.
They'd have to make some stops.
Yeah, dude. I don't think they can do
it's
that.
Like a Tesla. You got to stop and plug in every once in a while.
Yeah.
They quickly displaced many spotted owls when they got to the Pacific Northwest, which are smaller birds that need larger territories. An estimated 100,000 barred owls now live within a range that contains only 7,000 spotted owls. Okay. The newcomer's arrival also threatens to decimate frog and salamander species that the barred owls eat.
I don't know owls ate frogs.
Somebody says it's not just one owl versus one owl. Because of the predatory behavior, they are basically eating anything in the forest. This includes amphibians, small mammals, and other birds. So they're cannibals too.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Well, my parents, when they lived in their old house, they had little Yorkies. And they would just let them. They had a doggy door, and they would just go outside. And I've seen owls in the neighborhood. And I was like, you don't need to leave your dogs out at nighttime
or
because
like falcons and hawks. And stuff.
I was like, an owl will swoop down and pick that thing up, and they don't let them outside at night anymore without supervision because they will.
I read a story one time. I think Jay Leno did this. He talked about this in the Tonight Show. There was a school in California. And you know how like the kids, like elementary school kids, they'll put like an egg in an incubator and they track it and all that.
Yep.
And a chick grew and hatched and everything. And the kids went out in front of the school and let it loose in the grass to watch it. And a hawk swooped down, grabbed it, flew to the top of a flagpole and ate it alive in front of the kids.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine those kids?
Hey, man. It's
like a horror movie. It's
part of growing up. Yeah, it's good for them.
Anyway. So we got to figure out what to do with these owls.
Yeah, I'd take one if they wanted to. If they need me to take one, I can probably.
There's people who are against it. Former Fish and Wildlife Service biologist says we should let nature take its course. Birds and all animals move. Competitions arise. Should we be stepping in and killing mass numbers of them like this?
No.
We're on the side of those who.
Yeah,
I'm actually for it. I want to kill as many birds as possible.
No, you're wrong. Sorry.
We got to help these owls out, and we got to just take them out where we can.
Okay. All right, and I think that's enough owl talk.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take one more break, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back and talk about what we're gonna get into tonight and what we're watching and all that stuff. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
I actually saw these on TikTok before you guys even sent them to me. This is an interesting concept. They're socks that are anti-creasing.
The socks look really comfy. They do.
But the anti-creasing thing, like, look, why are we still doing this?
So the kids now that are under us, if you see them walking, they walk like
My mom's a gym teacher, and she says like kids will like.
I think that's always.
Who cares? The Sneak Fest Show live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
In Bo we trust. Bo is the future. I just want to go back to August 19th when I made it perfectly clear. When I make the fantasy football championship and the Broncos make the playoffs because of the success of Bo Nix. The bar is low. Give me Bo. That's a good one. The bar is low. Give me Bo.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker sitting in for GP, and I'm here with Bennett Doyle, and we're going to get into the GP's carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
I learned a lot about owls.
I was going to say, I mean, if I learned one thing, it's that owls are taking over the West Coast. That's probably the biggest thing that I learned. Yeah.
Actually, you know what I learned talking to Ohm was that, like, I think the Clippers, like, they're not, we can't count them out in the Western Conference. Like, I feel like they're sort of in the same boat as the Grizzlies right now. Like, nobody's talking about them. Everybody talks about the Nuggets and the T-Wolves and the, you know, but
it's weird. I can't even, okay, so Kawhi, James Harden, Zubats, like who else is on that team?
Batum. They signed Derrick Jones Jr. from the Mavs. They've got.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look at the roster.
They are just an afterthought. It's kind of wild.
But they have like a lot of smart minds.
Because what were they last year? Fifth.
Yeah.
Where were they in the West? Fifth.
Clippers. Hold on, roster. Nick Batum. They have Kobe Brown.
Okay.
Cam Christie, Chris Dunn. They signed Chris Dunn. James Harden, Bones Highland, Derrick Jones Jr., Kai Jones, the one who was like, who was on, wasn't he on the Hornets and they had to cut him because they were like, what's going on with this dude?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Kai Jones, Kawhi Leonard, Terrence Mann. They signed Kevin Porter Jr., who was on the Rockets and who had all the issues and got arrested and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean.
Norman Powell, PJ Tucker, Zubats, Tyronn Lue, Jeff Van Gundy. I don't know.
Yeah, they finished fourth last year.
And that was with Paul George is like their best player last year.
Yeah.
You know? So
I mean, I think it obviously comes down to Kawhi, like where
what are you getting?
Yeah, what are you getting? Is he going to be able to play? I mean, I do think listen, we've seen James Harden be amazing in the regular season. Like, I think those years are probably past, but like,
who knows?
Who knows?
Also, like, I would give the Clippers this. Like, the reason they don't have Paul George is because they didn't want to commit that much money long term to him.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they going to spend that money on? They've got money now. Like, they'll have some space and the ability to do some things. Like, maybe they're going to go do some stuff, you know?
I think, to me, it kind of seems like, because we talked a lot about the new arena, it seems a lot like, let's see what happens here. We're going to have some money, and, you know, do we need to go make a big move and try to make one last run at this thing, or do we just reset and in a couple years just have this, you know, brand new team, new arena, new era of Clippers basketball?
They are in a weird place to go into a new arena, like with this roster.
Yeah,
normally,
for sure.
like, you want to reboot and like get all the, you know, and then go into the new thing with this roster. And
I do, you know, it's funny. Like, I you know, hate the Clippers, right? Like, going back so far, but I want to see the arena. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see if they gain new fans just based on having this state-of-the-art, like, brand new arena that probably easier to still get tickets than the Lakers. I mean, it seems like
maybe that's their like grand plan. They put together a crummy roster so that people will be able to go to the games.
Right. And then we gain this new fan base.
You get into, all the nerds are going to be real big fans of the Clippers because they like the arena. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. I want to check it out one day for sure.
All right.
What's today's biggest game?
Today's biggest game. I mean, are you going to go college football? You're going to go Colorado, Dakota State, or baseball?
You said you wanted to do
I want to go baseball. Braves-Phillies is a big game tonight. The Braves have won 12 of their last 16.
You know what? Let's get weird. Let's do baseball because I want to pick two.
The Braves have won 12 of the last 16. Everybody's hurt. They've had to go out. Like, you know, Austin Riley just broke his wrist last week. He's out. They had to go get Gio Urshela. He just got cut. He's been playing great. Whit Merrifield's been an incredible second baseman because Ozzie Albies is hurt. The pitching's been awesome for the Braves. Charlie Morton's going tonight for the Braves against the Phillies. The Braves have been clinging to this wild card spot. Somehow Marcell Ozuna is the second best hitter in the National League against all odds. He's, I think, 5 home runs behind Ohtani now in the NL race. But he's flirting with Triple Crown numbers, which is ridiculous. So we'll see what happens. Braves-Phillies tonight, and Charlie Morton on the bump for the Braves. And the Braves are 5 games behind the Phillies. The Phillies have been in a free fall since the All-Star break. Braves are 5 games behind the Phillies and play 4 games now in Philly. And the Braves have won the season series so far against the Phillies. So good series.
So the Orioles are.
I'll pick the Braves tonight.
Okay, Orioles back in LA for third game versus the Dodgers, looking to win that series. So, we got Cade Povich on the mound tonight with a 1-6 record against Bobby Miller, who's 1-3. So, man, you know, not a single game means absolutely nothing in the regular season in Major League Baseball for the most part. It does feel like, just because the Orioles have been so up and down this second half of the season, I mean, it's just been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. There's been no consistency. It would be good to leave LA saying they won the series against the Dodgers. I mean, that'd just be positive momentum for them. It's LA minus 155. I'll take the O's. I'll have some fun tonight. And then let's get my college football pick. We should, just because it's the first start of week 1.
I'll take Colorado, North Dakota State under. It was 60.5 was the number.
Colorado, North Dakota State under. Okay.
The other one that I found that I thought was kind of interesting is that Minnesota, North Carolina game.
See, I know nothing about Minnesota. I can't even.
They have PJ Flex, the coach, and like he lights candles and has accessory sayings.
That's
around.
right.
He wears the vest.
Wears
all
the
vest,
time. Right.
Yeah. And they've kind of been okay the last few years, but you know, not.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's probably a pretty good spot with them with North Carolina with a new quarterback. You know, I'd mess around and take the underdog in Missouri, maybe straight up.
You mean Minnesota?
Yeah.
Missouri
Minnesota.
plays tonight.
I mean, it's in Minneapolis.
Missouri's the
That's
other
why
team.
I said that. I was looking at Missouri.
I love Missouri. They're like one of my favorite teams in college football. And they get Brady Cook's back, Luther Burden's back. They got a huge recruiting class. Drinkwitz is still the coach. They're favored by 50 against Murray State.
I wouldn't touch that. I don't like that. I always stay away from that. It's just like
Arkansas plays Arkansas Pine Bluff tonight too. They're favored by 50. Like 2 SEC teams play like patsies tonight.
Arkansas Pine Bluff, I believe, is the Southern Heritage Classic team now with TSU. I think that's right. Because Jackson State doesn't play in the Southern Heritage Classic anymore. So I think.
Let's see their line. They play Texas Southern. Tennessee State on the.
So
14th.
what was yours? You got the under.
Colorado in North Dakota State. It was 60 is the over under.
Okay, I'm going to take Minnesota money line.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
What are we watching on TV?
What are we watching on TV? Oh, I got something actually.
Okay.
I got something. New Netflix special entitled Adam Sandler Love You, and it's a comedy special. The reason I'm interested in this is because some of it I'm pretty sure was filmed right here at FedEx Forum when he came and did his stand-up special, because it was very clear no filming. Like they were walking around looking at people, making sure nobody was filming during that during his stand-up special. And so it makes me believe that maybe we'll get a clip from Memphis.
He
Maybe, I don't know.
He played in the practice gym. Maybe we were video that.
It was awesome, by the way. Like it's worth watching anyways, regardless if they have the Memphis stuff or not. I was really surprised by it. We actually went to the show last minute. It was one of those things, like a huge Adam Sandler fan, like going back to when I'm a kid and Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, and just he's had this decades long career, and so always been a big fan. And I didn't really think about like going to it necessarily, like it's an Adam Sandler stand-up special, like whatever. And about an hour before the show, looked at my wife and was like, hey, let's go. Let's just go. Like, I'll see if my parents can come watch the kids for a few minutes. Let's go. Like, when are we we're never gonna see Adam Sandler again. Dude, it was awesome. It was so good. It reminded you of just everything you ever thought about him when it comes to his comedy, but also it was just, he had some really good, he had the old school like Sandler singing songs, funny stuff like that, but I also thought that the special, he was able to kind of modernize it for a newer crowd as well. I thought it was really good, so I bet this special's pretty good.
All right, I got a show that I'm not watching, but one of the powers that be here at Grind City Media told me about a show on Netflix called Three Body Problem. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's some sort of sci-fi. They said it's sci-fi for folks who kind of like and admire math.
I hate
math people. I do too. All the smartest people on the show are women. It's probably a pretty niche audience, but it's a great show. And it's something about aliens coming to Earth. Now here's the hook.
Okay.
I haven't watched this. The alien race are called the Santi.
That's your friend.
That's my son.
That's your friend.
My oldest son,
right.
Santi Aldama. But they're called the SAN-TI, Santi.
Okay.
So we have to ask Santi about this.
Let's see what they're all about. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll tune in. Probably not.
Right. You know what I've been watching though? Like,
what have you been watching?
I am into sci-fi, and I love the show
I am too.
For All Mankind on Apple TV. I think I mentioned it to you.
You mentioned that to me. I do, because you're not the first person that's mentioned that to me.
I'm on season 2 now. It's great. It's so good. It's like, so it's basically an alternate history of NASA, and like what happens if the Russians beat us to the moon.
Okay.
And it's in the middle of the Cold War, right? So the Russians get to the moon first. So then when we get to the moon, the president's pissed that we didn't get there first. Nixon's pissed. He's like on NASA's ass to get up there. We get up there, and then they want to weaponize the moon. So then we have to get a base built up there as soon as possible. The Russians build a base up there. So we have 2 bases on the moon. Now I'm on to the 70s. But because it's an alternate history, like LBJ becomes president, and then Ted Kennedy gets elected president. Kennedy's pissed at NASA. He doesn't like the way it's going. Now I'm on Reagan's in office in 76 instead of 80. He beats Carter in the 76 election. So there's like real people, like Werner von Braun is in the show. Deke Slayton, who was like one of the head of the NASA astronauts, he's in the show. He actually becomes an astronaut in the show, unlike in real life. it's really weird because they talk about Neil Armstrong and John Glenn and all these people. Those guys aren't in it, but then they have like, you know, it's set in the 60s, so they're all driving like these old Corvettes, and they live in mid-century modern houses, and it's kind of like Mad Men, you know, like in the feel of it. But now it's into the 70s. One of the guys is a dude who, one of the they have female astronauts, a bunch of women astronauts, and one of them's husband is a dude who's like a stoner, and his job is he paints like Santana concert posters, you know, like from the 70s, those like psychedelic posters.
For sure.
That's just what he does.
I have plenty.
So anyway, it's an awesome show. I think you'd like it.
All right, I'll check it out for all mankind.
It's on Apple TV.
All right.
What's the best thing we've read?
I read a great story this morning on ESPN.com.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about it.
From Chris Lowe about Lane Kiffin. And look, we've heard a million of these stories about the maturation of Lane Kiffin, but that's basically what this story is. And he talked to all these people who are in Lane Kiffin's orbit about how he's been sober now for like 4.5 years. He's doing yoga and all this stuff. You know, his father just passed away. He just hired his brother to come be on the staff at Ole Miss because he said that that's what my father would have wanted, all of us to be together.
Yeah.
It talked about he almost took the Auburn job a couple of years ago, and his daughter had moved with him to be like, you know, go to finish out high school with him. And she was the one who was like, Dad, like I moved here to be with you. You're not going to leave again, because he had done that previously from Florida Atlantic. And he talks about how he was probably a terrible assistant coach for Nick Saban. He was like, I'm not surprised Saban, like, I was a handful. I'm not surprised Saban, like, got sick of me. But it's a really good story and really revealing story about Lane Kiffin. And I don't want to say this, but it kind of made me like him a little bit.
Okay, I'll read it.
What you got?
What's on tap for tomorrow?
I'll read that.
What are you doing tomorrow? Talk college football week one?
Yeah, I think we need to get ready for week one.
Jessica Benson will be in here.
Yeah, JB will be here in studio. So we'll listen, we'll have to save some college football for her. She is
Ms. College Football?
I think so. I think we can call her Miss College Football.
Mrs.? She's married.
So Tony Barnhart is Mr.
College Football.
But I don't think anyone's coined Miss College Football.
Maybe we go Ms. We had to ask Jessica about this.
I think she needs to trademark that ASAP.
Queen College Football?
I like Miss College Football.
I don't like Miss. That denotes like a young, very young person, like a child.
I mean, she is married. We could call her Mrs. College Football.
I kind of like she's married to the game.
There it is.
Mrs. College Football.
There it is.
We'll have to sell her on the sheet. She's probably going to hate this idea. I'm actually on her show tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock here on Grind City Media.
All right, so a lot of Lang and JB
we're
tomorrow.
Gonna tailgate.
That's cool.
We're tailgating on Jessica's show to get ready for the weekend. So I'm going to cook.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, I'll be there.
Morning.
I'll be in there.
Come in too, yeah.
Cool.
I think we might play some beer pong. We're going to be ready for the weekend.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, that's today's Gary Parrish show. And I'm going to be back here tomorrow with Bennett, and we're going to go through all this stuff for the weekend. But thanks for hanging with us today, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media.